Walk through almost any backyard garden in July and you will see the same scene. Cucumber vines crawling in every direction, leaves piled on top of each other, fruit hidden under damp foliage, yellow spots spreading like rust, cucumbers curved like question marks, bitter at the tip, soft at the blossom end. Most gardeners think this is normal. It isn't. This chaos is not abundance, it's stress. When cucumbers sprawl across the soil, three silent problems appear immediately. First, the leaves stay wet for hours after rain or watering. That moisture becomes a breeding ground for powdery mildew and downy mildew. Second, the vines shade themselves, so the plant cannot regulate sugar production. That's where the bitterness comes from. And third, the fruit lies directly on cold soil, which twists the cucumbers and interrupts nutrient flow. Ground-grown cucumbers are always fighting. But professional growers learned something more than a century ago. They stopped letting cucumbers behave like weeds and started training them like grapes. Inside commercial greenhouses, cucumbers are never allowed to touch the soil. Every plant grows upward on a single stem, guided by string, stripped clean at the base, and pruned with near-military discipline. The result? Straight fruit, dark green skins, zero mildew, and harvests so heavy the vines must be supported daily. One plant doesn't produce 5 cucumbers, it produces 50. Today, we are deleting the bush completely. You will learn the single stem method, sometimes called the umbrella system, the exact technique used by market gardeners who grow thousands of cucumbers in spaces smaller than your patio. It looks brutal, it feels wrong, and it works frighteningly well.
Cucumbers are not bushes. They only pretend to be. In nature, cucumbers are climbing vines. If given the chance, they will scale fences, shrubs, and trees, reaching 8 feet or more towards sunlight. When we force them to sprawl on the ground, we are asking a climber to crawl, and the plant responds with weakness. The single stem method begins with one simple decision. Everything goes up. You do not need an expensive structure. A sturdy trellis, cattle panel, or greenhouse bar works perfectly. From that support, hang a strong string, jute, polypropylene, or tomato twine. Tie the bottom loosely around the base of the seedling. This string becomes the plant's spine. As the cucumber grows, you do not tie it tightly. Instead, you gently wrap the main stem around the string every few days. The vine will naturally grip and follow the spiral. Now, gravity becomes your ally. When cucumbers hang vertically, they grow perfectly straight. Nutrients flow evenly. Water pressure stays constant. The fruit does not curl because nothing presses against it. This vertical lift also solves spacing. A plant that normally sprawls across 6 square feet can now live comfortably in 1. Sun reaches every leaf, air flows freely, pollination improves, diseases struggle to establish. From this moment on, your cucumber plant stops behaving like a tangled weed and starts behaving like a production line. But structure alone is not enough. In the next step, we must perform the most painful cut in cucumber growing, the one that feels like sabotage but prevents nearly all disease. This is where the blind zone begins.
This is the part most gardeners cannot emotionally handle. You will look at a healthy young cucumber plant, full of leaves, flowers, even tiny baby cucumbers, and you will deliberately remove them, all of them. The bottom 12 inches of the plant must become completely naked. No leaves, no flowers, no fruit, nothing. This area is called the blind zone, and it is the single most important disease prevention technique used in professional cucumber production. Here's why it works. Almost every cucumber disease begins at soil level. When you water or when rain hits the ground, microscopic spores splash upward. The lowest leaves catch those droplets first. Once infected, the disease travels upward through the plant like smoke in a chimney. By removing everything from the bottom foot of the stem, you remove the landing pad. Air now flows freely beneath the plant. Sunlight dries the stem quickly. Moisture cannot linger. Powdery mildew struggles to establish because it has nowhere safe to begin. Yes, you are sacrificing early fruit, but in return, you are buying the plant an extra 6 to 8 weeks of life. A cucumber that stays healthy in August will outproduce a sick cucumber in June by a massive margin. Another hidden benefit appears underground. With fewer leaves demanding energy at the bottom, the plant sends sugars into root expansion. Strong roots early mean explosive growth later. The rule is simple. If it grows below knee height, remove it. Once the blind zone is established, never let it refill. As the plant climbs higher, continue removing lower leaves so the stem stays clean and ventilated. This one act alone can reduce mildew pressure by more than half. But disease is only one enemy. The next enemy is far more seductive because it looks productive.
At every leaf joint on a cucumber vine, something dangerous forms, a side shoot. Gardeners often celebrate this moment. More vines must mean more cucumbers, right? Wrong. These side shoots are energy vampires. Each sucker tries to become its own plant, complete with leaves, flowers, and fruit. The result is a dense jungle that competes with itself for light, calcium, and water. This is how you get lots of leaves, many flowers, very few cucumbers, or worse, cucumbers that abort halfway and turn yellow. In the single stem method, discipline is everything. You allow only one main stem to grow upward. At every node, you will see 3 things: a large leaf, a flower, female flowers have a tiny cucumber behind them, a small side shoot, the sucker. That sucker must go. Pinch it off while it is still soft, ideally when it is less than 2 inches long. If you wait, the plant wastes energy trying to heal the wound. This pruning must be done every 2 to 3 days. Miss 1 week and the vine will attempt a coup. Once the sucker is removed, you keep the leaf and the fruit. The leaf feeds the cucumber directly above it, like a solar panel connected to a battery. This creates a powerful vertical system. 1 stem, 1 leaf per node, 1 cucumber per node. Nothing competes, nothing shades, nothing steals nutrients. The plant enters what greenhouse growers call generative mode, focused on reproduction instead of foliage. From this point forward, cucumbers begin appearing daily, not weekly, daily. The plant is now clean, vertical, ventilated, and obedient. But eventually, every vine reaches the roof, and when it does, we don't stop it. We turn it upside down. That is where the umbrella begins.
Eventually, every cucumber plant reaches the top of its string. In a greenhouse, this might be 7 or 8 feet high. Outdoors, on a trellis, it may be the highest point you can comfortably reach. Most gardeners panic here. They let the vine flop over randomly or cut it entirely. Professionals do neither. They use the umbrella method. When the main stem reaches the top support, you pinch off the growing tip, just 1 clean cut. This tells the plant vertical growth is finished. Immediately below that cut, 2 strong side shoots will appear. This time, you allow them. Only 2. These become the arms of the umbrella. Guide each one sideways for a short distance, then let them hang downward freely. Gravity now does the work. Fruit develops straight, evenly, and heavily spaced. Why does this matter? Because cucumber productivity changes with age. The lower half of the plant produces first.
The middle produces strongest, the top produces longest. By flipping growth downward, you keep the plant in its most productive phase while preventing overcrowding at the base. Air still moves freely, light still reaches every leaf, disease pressure stays low, and harvesting becomes effortless. Fruit hangs at eye level like ornaments. At this stage, you continue the same rules. Remove all suckers on the umbrella arms, keep one leaf and one cucumber per node. Remove aging leaves below as they yellow. The plant now resembles a living food machine. One stem becomes two. Two become dozens of perfect fruits. Commercial growers rely on this structure because it allows continuous harvest for 10 to 12 weeks from a single plant, not 5 cucumbers, 50. And here is the final secret. Cucumbers do not store energy. If you do not harvest daily, the plant believes its mission is complete. Miss harvests and production slows. Pick daily and the vine keeps reproducing in panic.
Most cucumber problems are not soil problems. They are architecture problems. When vines sprawl on the ground, everything fights everything else. Moisture, shade, pests, disease, bitterness, rot. But when you give cucumbers structure, something remarkable happens. They stop surviving and start producing. The single stem method looks strict, almost brutal. You remove flowers, you cut shoots, you force obedience. Yet the plant responds with gratitude. Leaves grow larger, roots dig deeper, fruit becomes straighter, sweeter, cleaner. Instead of crawling in the dirt, your cucumbers climb into the light. Instead of hiding under mildew, they hang freely in airflow. Instead of chaos, you get rhythm. Once you try this method, it becomes impossible to go back. You will look at ground-sprawling vines the same way you look at tangled headphones, unnecessary suffering. One string, one stem, one purpose. Grow upward, prune hard, harvest often, and your cucumbers will stop behaving like weeds and start behaving like a factory. Subscribe to Garden Lower Vault, where old-world discipline meets modern abundance. Because food doesn't come from magic, it comes from structure.